Oh, pfft.
Tangled in a web, I call it life inside my head, becoming blurred by so much said. I'm in too deep waters I tread, can't catch my breath. A shadow chasing me, a game of hide and seek. Found they'll have a
All right, welcome everyone to another edition of Deconversion Stories. And Mikey is invisible, just so you know. He's wearing a completely covered in green. So he's actually, you can't see him because of his green screen. No, I'm kidding. He went somewhere. Like he went to smoke a bowl or something just before we get there. He is. He's back. He's back, Jack. All right. And today on the show, we have this fellow right here, Mr. Michael Erhart. Or Erhart?
It's like Amelia. It's Erhart.
Erhart. Okay.
Erhart, yeah.
Any relation or no?
Supposedly a slight distance, but I'm an Erhart through adoption, so you know.
Ah, you was adopted as well. So was I.
I was, fine, sir.
Fine. You mean like hair?
Well,
no, fine like you.
I haven't known you that long.
Fine like you owe somebody money.
Yeah, there you go. Fine, sir.
I don't know anybody. Well, I owe the credit card companies, but that's another story. Anyway, welcome to the show, Michael.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, Mikey.
Welcome.
This is awkward. All right, so anyway.
Here we go.
What we do here is we chat with folks about how they found their way out of their previous belief system. So, Michael, what I'm going to ask you to do is kind of take us back into the days when, you know, you were in whatever system you're in and you church going and stuff like that. And although I already know this because we talked about it in the messenger, that moment when you kind of decided, holy shit, I'm no longer a believer. And I think you mentioned, I got to know, was it George Carlin that kind of changed your
that was the first
opinion?
bump. Yeah, he was the first bump for me.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, because he does do a lot of that on his shtick about religion and stuff like that. So
the comedy, comedy is a thing for me, and so that would, like, how he expressed his thoughts through comedy just went straight into my head like a needle.
Apparently it's bandana night, but Mikey's
technically this is the do-rag, so technically you're the only bandana guy. So that's why I knew I could get away with it. I wasn't literally stealing your mojo.
I found like a fitted cap that was like colored like a bandana, and I meant to buy it as a joke months ago, and that just reminded me. Fuck. Now I gotta dig up that hat again because it looks just like a normal hat, except it looks like your bandana when I wear it back.
Awesome.
But it's a baseball cap, and I was like, that'd be so funny. It'd be funnier if I remembered it.
I've seen that. Don't think I've ever seen that. Well, Michael, I'm just gonna let you go ahead and tell your story, and if we have any ridiculous questions, we'll probably just go, hey, hold on, or whatever, that kind of thing.
Please do. Please do. Okay, let's see. I guess instead of starting with my parents, I'm going to go back a hair before that and start with my mom's parents.
Okay.
I think their parents came over from Ireland, so we got some strong Irish Catholic roots. So my grandparents were first generation. My grandfather, eventually they started calling him Pope Charles because he was the leader of a nine-child family where all of them went to Catholic church every day.
Fertile.
Two of the
every day.
Well, it just because they all went to Catholic school, so they had to go to mass every day. Yeah, in that sense. But Grandpa, not going to church, went 3 times a week, 4 times a week towards the end. Yeah, he was hardcore. And we're talking like the what is it? Who was the president? Kennedy, kind of Irish Catholic. As a matter of fact, there was Jesus on the wall, and there was Kennedy on the wall. I remember at the house growing up.
Well, really, they're interchangeable, so you know.
They really are. Well, his son's going to be president with Donald. Never, we won't get political.
Here, real quick. This is it. Not
Oh,
the Supreme one, but they kind of have like the back of it. So when you wear it backwards, it looks like you're wearing a bandana.
Yeah. That's nice.
I just forgot to get it, and now I can't find the exact one. Gone forever. But yes, Kennedy on the wall.
Kennedy on the wall. So they were Catholic. Two of his sons went to seminary school to be priests. And I just remember grandma and grandpa both just pushing religious on me as a kid. My mom left my dad at some point when I was real little, so we moved in with them. So I grew up in that house for a time. Then she met Erhart, Dan, my dad, who adopted me. That's where I get the Germanic name there. And at that point, she fell away from her faith because she had been at that point now, I think, divorced. And, that's bad in the Catholic Church. Yeah. So she couldn't get communion. And so she kind of fell away from her faith.
Darn.
Yeah. But interestingly enough, she still had a lot of material around the house. And I remember a bookshelf where my dad had a lot of, he had, what was it? The Kennedy assassination book back there. And we had the Britannicas back there, but she had Christian literature. She had some Christian books. And I, as a little kid, would pull these out and I would see Jesus on the cross. And I'm not kidding. This is my first memories of God besides my grandparents.
He's just hanging out there.
Yeah, he's just hanging out. But it would affect me so strongly. Literally. I'd be like, this God died for us in such a brutal way that little, I want to say 7 to maybe 9 that I was doing these drawings. I would sit and draw them out of the book. And then I would just cry for like a good half hour. Right. And I mean, we're talking, the shocked look I see on your face. Yeah, you should be, because it was bizarre, but I would get really worked up over that this Christ child died for us. So that's where my first spirituality came in, was kind of on my own. I got it a little from the grandparents, but it was just moved beyond tears that God would die for us. Right. But then that was it. No church. My mom had me go to catechism. But the only thing I remember from that was,
What is that?
That's Catholic education. So not school, but like on Saturday, you'd go down in the morning and you'd meet with some kind of lay person. In other words, not a priest, but just a regular guy who would teach you about, I don't know, catechism. He would teach you about.
Stuck up. Now he's just a regular guy.
Yeah. He'd teach you baptism and just all the different tenets of Catholicism. And
water over you.
Well, we were being indoctrinated and we didn't know it, right? Sure. But she sent me with the guy I ended up smoking my first joint with. So there was nice. Am I allowed to say that?
Oh yeah.
So I remember walking home from catechism, and we'd smoke cigarettes, and we'd pick up grass out of the ground and put it in our mouths and eat the grass to get rid of the smell of the cigarettes. So by the time we got home, we smelled like cows. Well, we smelled like, I mean, come on, grass has got, when you mow it, what do you smell? It's real green, real green smell.
They're like, we gotta hide this cigarette smell.
I eat the grass too, just not that kind of.
How do we get rid of the smell? I know. Grass. There's tons we'll just eat it.
And we just had to hope no dogs had been along, right?
I might lift a leg on you.
I wasn't pulling the divine or anything. So
hey, get out of here. We need that grass.
So that after that, I again still kind of fell away from religion. And it wasn't until a good friend of mine across the street, a really, really good friend. He was about 2 years older than me, and I looked up to him a lot. He chose to get out of the public school system that we were in and go to his Christian denominational church. His mom talked him into it or whatever, and he saw God. And this would have been...
What is he wearing? Everyone wants to know what the fashion of God is right now.
It's all tube tops, Neil. That's what the word on the street is. All tube tops.
I was thinking he was going all 80s retro and wearing the hypercolor shirts.
the shark skin.
The shark skin.
Oh, I remember those. Those were cool.
I want those
acid wash
pants.
jeans. God's out there trying to bring it back.
I'm trying to think.
Fuck,
So
we
yeah,
sidetrack too easily.
no, hey, if you guys don't keep this going, my story's gonna be boring. So please interject.
No. Carry on, sir.
Always.
Buddy across the street found God at a young age. I think he was maybe 15 and I was 13 or 14. I had already had a couple problems in the public school system, a bully for many years, some tablets that we thought were speeders, but ended up just being like, what do you call them? Gas station little pills, but we thought they were speeders and we got in trouble for them at school. And so we all got called down and had to go to counseling, and it was a bad experience. And so
Oh boy.
at that point, I thought I want to get out of this, switch to a different school, be a different person. And my buddy had just found God. I came home and I told my mom I want to go to his school. And she said, no, we're Catholics. You'll go to a Catholic school. And I said, well, what's that mean? And she said, well, let's go to the Catholic church. I had just started playing guitar then. She took me down to the church. The guy met the priest.
Wait.
Yeah.
Very important.
Oh yeah.
What was your first guitar?
A beater wood box, a Hondo, I believe. It was an
Did
acoustic Hondo.
Did you name it?
Yeah. I want to say Josephine, but I can't.
Yeah, I did too.
Right. Orange, man.
My first terrible guitar, I was like, Bathsheba. There we
Bathsheba. I slept with mine, so I had to go with the Josephine. Well, hey man, that thing it grew to be part of me.
Yeah.
The priest that we went and met at the Catholic church, he was like, "Oh, so you play guitar? So would you mind joining the church music group?"
Mhm.
So before you know it, I was knee deep, because then there was three nights a week practicing with them to be down there for the huge Sunday mass, and that mass at our church was the biggest one, the one where the music, because they had one before and one after with no music, and ours was the big crowded one, people standing in the back. The group that I was in was, I hate to say this, but they were actually pretty good.
not terrible musicians.
I mean the music was horrible. No. But my use of chords and my learning of music and how polished they wanted to be, they practiced hard. And at that point, she dragged me to the Catholic church, or to the Catholic school, and signed me up.
I was going to ask about chords and stuff. Have you ever seen the chord dice that you can get? They're like D&D dice.
Oh no!
And you roll them, and it'll say like B sharp,
F major 7.
Something like that, diminished or whatever. And then you roll 5 of them, and then you pick those chords and you write a song based on those chords.
Tight.
There's a guy on TikTok that does that, and he did this one, and he only used 4 of the dice, but it came up with I can't remember what it was, but it was kind of an odd progression of chords. So he's playing them, and he's going, "Fuck yeah, this is gonna be hard to put a melody to." And in my head, I'm already putting a melody to it because that's what I do as a singer.
That's your job.
Right? I come up with the harmonies and the melodies and stuff like that. So I type in there, go, "Geez, dude, I had a melody going in my head when you were playing it." He's like, "Oh, you should record this tune there and then put it back up here and I'll check it out." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. I don't play guitar, so you'll have to maybe
Just
we
give
could
it to
work together."
Yeah, give it to Michael. Michael will play it, and then we'll just like sample. See, I'll do the production part of it. I'll take his audio and your video. And you just strum along. It'll be fine.
I'd have to.
I really liked your band. I really did. It was a 14-year-old. I'm still waiting for you to send me a more current link because I really liked listening to what you guys put out many years ago. I thought that was, I don't know, at the risk of sounding at the risk of sounding like I'm kissing your butt. Yeah, it was really, really fucking good.
Oh, it is good. He never says it's good. He kind of downplays it, but they are really good.
No, if you walk around saying your shit's good, then I don't want to know you, man.
Any artist that likes their own stuff.
I like it. Don't get me wrong. I like it. I love singing it and stuff like that. But it's just, I don't know. It sounds like just good tunes, I guess.
And I really dug it. I want to hear something more recent.
All the stuff that's up that we had professionally done and is up for people to listen to is quite old now. One of the albums we did in 2007, then we did up. I think the last one we did was about 2013. But then my lead guitarist at the time passed away. So
yeah, and I heard that. I'm sorry about that. That's drag.
Yeah, so we kind of got this new thing going, and the tunes are still good. They're just not sort of the same, I guess, because it's different
Yeah.
guitars,
A
and,
change.
Right.
but it's still good. Like some of them are really bluesy, and there's some pretty cool shit. Like it's not bad.
Right.
I think one of these days, once I can figure out how to make the sound work properly, because it's tough to do that. It's tough to be able to play like a jam or something and live it out
Mhm.
to the world, right? Because
Mhm.
the sound cuts out. I noticed because it gets too loud or something.
Yeah. Overloads it.
Yeah, so it's tough to do, but I don't know. We'll figure something out at some point. Anyway,
Looks like-
Well, I'm
back to
looking
the story.
It's like a business trip for me. I got to go up to BC to go rig up a streaming setup for a practice space.
Well, I had to Google what 60. I knew immediately it was an area code. So I saw everybody else asking, what's 604? What's 604? And I just went, well, I bet you Google's going to tell me it's an area code. And so I'm like, oh, fucking A, it's a Canadian. And you know what? For years of my life, I hate to say this, you're going to dislike me for it, but that's okay. For years of my life, I thought of you as America Light or America Junior until my country went full on fucking nuts. Now I look up to you guys like you're the fucking leaders.
Please take us in. Just take us northern states.
Jeez.
You can leave the rest of them.
I
God,
think we already accept Minnesota, so
Right.
Well, I was
Oh,
born in
we're right-
Minneapolis. I was born in
There you go.
Minneapolis, but there you go. And I lived, I spent 5 years just under the bridge in Gaylord, Michigan. So I was a troll underneath the bridge up there, right up by Canada.
So
yeah, there is a troll bridge that goes from the U.S. to Canada. Just saying.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
man,
Good years up
just-
there.
I just want Illinois to be part of Canada. That's all. That would just be nice. Just carve out a little piece of land right here and please take us.
As I always say, just a boy from Illinois, but now there's two of us, me and Mikey. Right on.
Mhm.
Rock it out. I'm a little embarrassed that Mr. Rittenhouse comes from the freaking state. I know. I didn't mean to bring it up, but damn.
That guy. Piece of work, him. So like you did the for mass like music stuff, but did you like have like a band of your own? Were you like playing with your friends outside of church and stuff like that?
Well, yeah. One of the first memories I have, I was maybe 14 and I had a kind of goofier kid that lived in the neighborhood, brought over a drum set and brought it down in the
hell
basement. And we did just me and some drums, and we did we sat there for 20 minutes going, what do you know, what do you know, what do you know, and trying to, we finally hit on Smoke on the Water. And so that was the first thing I got to hear, loud banging drums in a room with my guitar, and from that time on I was hooked. Now that cat was totally gone in the head, not somebody I ended up jamming with for long, but that one moment was spectacular in my life. And then after that, so I'm in the Catholic high school, right? And within the first year, I start to realize I'm really into music, and I really want out of this school, and I really want to grow my hair long, and I can't do that in a school where they literally check your collar and check your hair level every day.
Come with scissors.
I found a singer who played bass in that band. Actually, we didn't know he was going to be a singer, but I found a bass player in that school. He and I found a connection of a guy who lived. So I got shipped from Boulder Hill to Aurora.
His name Geddy Lee.
Right.
There you go. Yeah. Well, he was a huge Geddy Lee fan too, or Sting. He loved Sting, so there that fit as well.
Good too.
Yeah, if you're a bass player, right, you're just doing your little thing, practicing your scales, and here comes Sting. It's like, I can sing and play.
Yeah.
All the bassists took singing lessons that day.
I found him, and so he knew somebody that was actually from the town that I grew up in, Boulder Hill, and it was really weird that he knew this guy 2 streets away from me who banged on drums, and that ended up probably being one of the most musical guys that I've ever known in my life. I'd put him up there just underneath, and you guys are gonna freak when I say this, but I'd put him up there just under Peart. Sorry. I mean, he was that good. He was totally trained in jazz. He knew like all the paradiddles and all the stuff like that. And Peart was his hero. So this cat, I mean, I don't know if he's still jamming drums to this day, but he was sick good on the drums. And so we had an incredible band. We played it all around Aurora. It was amazing because for our age, I even knew at our age that we were killing it. I mean, there was nobody else. There was like almost no other bands at that time that were our age, and we were playing at all the school parties. We played at West Aurora High School. We played. We opened for some of the bigger bands in Aurora at Aurora Fest. We were doing really good.
Cool.
Then they
Shit,
left
man.
me. They left me for some other dude that really rocked, and they moved out to California and out to Hollywood, and I moved out there following them, but not. I had started a new band at that point. And as a matter of fact, here's a funny story. Their band got courted by a recording agency. I had just spent a week starving out in Hollywood. Starving. I mean, a week starving. Just moved out there and starving. Never had a pineapple pizza, never wanted to. This guy that's courting their band bought 20 pineapple pizzas, and they're all sitting on the table. And I was like, oh, fuck, I don't want a pineapple pizza. To this day, it's still my favorite kind now because I starved on some pineapple pizza that day.
Fun fact, Hawaiian pizza, which is actually what that is,
Yes.
was invented here in Canada.
Well, sure, Canadian bacon.
Well, these traditional is the ham, Canadian back bacon, and pineapple.
Okay.
Sometimes they put mushrooms on, sometimes they don't. Depends on where you go.
So that's such a big
the Hawaiian pizza invented in Canada.
So that's
of
a
course-
big thing where most people don't like it. Do you like it?
I like Hawaiian pizzas. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, good.
I don't have an issue with it. Also, other fun fact: California rolls were invented here in BC. So we always invent things and then name them after places that we're not. So I don't know why.
Wouldn't it be nice if?
Wouldn't it be nice?
Oh, yeah, that guy made the top 200 Rolling Stone list, by the way.
Did he? No way.
Who's
Yeah.
that?
I forget his name, but
Brian
wouldn't it be
Wilson?
yeah.
Brian Wilson. Oh, he's a god to me. That dude is like, you watch that documentary, and that dude is he's out of this world kind of genius, went crazy, certifiably crazy.
That's how you
Sorry,
know your
just
music
joking.
can write.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, his chords for what is that one song? God Only Knows. That song spooks me. I mean, like I'm real into metal, but I have a soft spot for some good. I have a soft spot for some good tunes, and he wrote some good tunes.
I like good music. Like I don't care what kind it is, as long as it's good.
Yeah. Oh, I listen to everything from Bach. From him. I mean, I'll be listening to like Metallica, Slayer, or whatever, and then I'll pop on an ABBA. Maybe not right back to back, but
I got stuck in a Anita Baker loop the other day that I couldn't get out
Oh.
of. I was like,
oh,
damn, I forget. I was like, they don't make music like this anymore. Damn you, clouds! Like, I'm just
it's awesome.
what's wrong with you, young folk? Need a Baker in your life.
When I was young, it was like, yeah, it's all about the metal, man. I don't like anything else. And then I worked in a record store for years, and then your tastes just start to evolve.
Expand.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then we all think we become, what's the word? Eclectic. I'm so eclectic.
My brain
I
is
love some good stuff, man.
less of a library and more of a junk drawer. There's just a lot of stuff in there.
I like that.
I wish I could forget some things, but it's all in there.
And I don't know why that reminded me of this little thing that I read at work today on lunch break, but they have created a black hole in a lab.
Well, that doesn't sound safe. And I saw that on The Simpsons.
Well, yeah, it's a micro black hole, and it doesn't have the kind of power enough to wreck anything. But they were concerned because it started glowing. But they figured that's the Hawking radiation is what that is.
Sure. Well, that's cool. You follow the same shit I do.
That sounds.
I'm dying.
I'm glad they did that.
Mm.
Stop.
Right.
What's wrong with you? Turn it off. No, unplug it. Don't even turn it off. Just unplug it from the wall.
It won't go away. It's
shit.
getting bigger. Stop feeding it.
Didn't we see that? Wasn't that on Star Trek?
Oh, yeah. Don't feed it after midnight, though. And don't get it wet.
He's like, no, I can contain it. I can contain it. It's like, why are you doing this?
They did contain it in some sort of electromagnetic field or something.
It's a spore.
Dyson ball. Is that what they got?
You used something. It was the spore,
Something
dude.
like that.
But there was a plot point with that. I don't want to give it
Speaking
away.
of plot points, we're gone way off topic here now. So.
Yeah, Neil.
So now I'm into music. No, well, it's actually interesting because that's the next big part here. So now I'm at Catholic school. I'm into music and I'm smoking pot, and those three things plus you add the contrivances of God in there, and not only that, but ever since going back to when I used to cry over the Jesus drawings, in those same books would be demons and devils, and so that never left me. So
Right.
I guess the way I like to say it is The Exorcist to me was like a documentary. I mean, I really
Right.
believe that demons and devils are real. You could be taken over. And so I would sit and listen to my hard rock and my heavy metal, and I'd have my Dio album there with I'll never forget the time my mom walked in and said, I think it was Holy Diver, where the priest is in the water and there's a devil with a chain. My mom walked in and just fucking freaked when she saw that. But I used to be afraid that shit would come through the speakers. And I'm not exaggerating. This is how indoctrinated I was. I would think that the devil could crawl through the speakers and possess me, or worse, just appear in the room and scare the shit out of me and leave me in a pile of, never mind, excrement. That was a real fear of mine. Yeah.
Me too. I had like irrational, like demon worries, like actual worries, like especially if it's like late.
Sure.
I have been acting like a real toad lately. Fucking
Coming
demons.
Coming up from the basement in the dark, I was always, and it wasn't like
the last three steps.
Yeah, yeah. The devil's gonna get me. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just
so I mean, I had and what's really crazy is it wasn't just metal. I could put on let's see. The ones that I remember sticking out in my head were the middle section of A Whole Lot of Love, where you'd have the where and all the slide and pick across the strings and all that. I was like sure that the devil was going to get me during those moments, or Helter Skelter by the Beatles. And we're talking that's the freaking Beatles. Come on.
That made me cry the first time I listened to it.
Yeah. That's a great song.
All that crazy editing and stuff in there.
And then fucking what the fuck is their name? Motley Crue fucking wrecked it.
No, they killed it. Just fucking killed it. I remember the first time I saw that album cover, I thought these chicks are kind of cute. No. No. So when I moved out to Hollywood, I just visited that. So we're revisiting. When I moved out to Hollywood, I'm standing there on not Hollywood Boulevard. What is it? Melrose and Sunset, by where the three major clubs are. You got the Roxy, the Whiskey, and I fucking can't remember the name of the third one. It was owned by the guy with the G name in his name.
Let us know in the chat.
What's that?
Let us know in the chat.
Let us know in the chat. But all I would see was primped up guys, and I grew up worshiping Zeppelin, who was just jeans and maybe a shirt, but there was all these primped up guys, and they'd be sitting there doing makeup, primping their hair, and I was
the glam era, man. It's the glam
era. But I was I was like, this is not what I want. This is not the Hollywood I wanted to see. No.
What happened?
Glam started taking some really odd turns. You ended up with bands like Faster Pussycat, which is more of a punk edge kind of glam stuff, and
it's weird the way it took bands that were good, like Tesla. Tesla was a real band, but then they kind of took a glam edge, or Def Leppard was a real band, and then they took a glam edge, and
they just were. I don't think they were glam. Leopard kind of maybe did it for the videos, but I seen them live and they weren't like that live. So
no, I saw them live too with Tesla. Yeah, I saw them.
Me too.
Oh, that was a fucking great tour. I went to them once, saw them with it was Def Leppard and Tesla. Freaked, thought it was an incredible show. Then got tickets to go see Def Leppard again because they came back around on the same leg, and I was worried because the tickets said it was going to be who's that band that I hate that does that? They do the final countdown. I hated that fucking song. I fucking hated that song. No, Europe.
Yes.
Europe. Okay.
I fucking hated that band and I hated that song. And so I was like, I don't want to see them open. But we get there. It's dark. The lights on the stage kick on and the fucking drum set for Tesla was there. And it's like, oh my God, I get to see Tesla again. Yeah. So I got lucky.
Surprise.
Yeah, they do a great version of Signs. Signs.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't make me pick up my guitar. Yeah, they do a good version of that. Yeah. So let's see. I think that about gets me to where I was starting to deconvert, because I mean, just fear of demons, fear of devils, and musically, affecting me. Fear of that, and it would be even worse when I smoked some weed. You smoke some good weed and you got some brainwashing going on in your noggin. That's not a good
Yeah.
combination. And Carlin,
You
sorry,
mentioned
go ahead.
Ronnie James Dio,
Oh yeah,
who didn't go by that in his early career. He was like,
right.
he did stuff in like the 50s and stuff. He was singing in those 50s pop bands and
Crooning,
stuff. And
yeah.
they had a fairly big hit back then. And then he was in like Rainbow and stuff like that. And of course, he actually got kicked out of Rainbow, but because they just weren't seeing eye to eye, I guess, Blackmore and him. So he ended up with Sabbath, and then of course doing his solo stuff. And you mentioned him, and you mentioned Holy Diver, and now that song is stuck in my head. So.
Well, the last in line. How about the last in line? There you go. Get that one stuck in your head. That was my favorite. Was the last in line? It had some rock and guitar in that one.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you guys have ever heard the Kill Switch Engage cover of Holy Diver, but
Yes.
it's amazing. And that is what's in my head. And I can just see Howard with the sword doing this stupid shit from the music video.
It's a good version. It's a good version.
Yeah, I really did like that. Yeah, it was tight.
Crushed it. Crushed it.
So Carlin, that was probably
yeah.
the first knock on my door was Carlin, because I mean he's been around since the 70s, and so as I got older,
earlier than that.
yeah, actually, right. He goes back to short hair days, and he did the man, and that stuff was fun to watch him transition too. But you could tell that there was that guy waiting to get out. That's what I love when you watch the old black and white of him. You can see that there was that the stoner waiting to get out.
Like his first appearance on the Tonight Show when he had the suit on and the short hair. And
yeah.
Like back in the late 50s, I think that was, or early 60s, 61, maybe.
See, I credit him for being the first knock on the door, but I have to say that my own brain was already starting to pick apart, like the flood narrative. And I mean, just some of the things just didn't make sense to me. And I remember in Catholic school raising my hand quite a bit saying like, but really 600 years old? Really? That kind of thing.
Was you fucking Yoda?
Yeah. We actually had a teacher one day in Catholic school who would come into the classroom one day, and across the huge, big, green chalkboard written the words F-U-C-K. And this guy went through about how I hear you kids saying that all day long, and like you think it's a great word. And I just want you to teach you. It's an old English word that means planting the seed. I've since Googled that, and it's not a true story, but
no.
That's where he took us with it that day. But yeah, so Carlin started knocking at the door. I'm embarrassed to say one of the big things that took me out of my faith was once the YouTube era first took off, there was a video on there called Zeitgeist. I'm real embarrassed to say that I got sucked down that rabbit hole. It had 3 legs to it. One leg was taking apart religion. One was taking apart the financial institution and saying that there was a they. And then there was the leg of it that was 9/11 truther before that movie, before Loose Change came out. And I was hook, line, and I was bought into all of it. And I only thank God that at that point, so I needed my mind open to let God out. But there's a thing about opening your mind so far your brain falls out. And and I quickly had to go, wait a minute, some of this might not be true. And I started to weed through what made sense to me and what didn't make sense to me. And I thought, if there's a they everywhere, then all I'm going to do is be walking around, what the fuck, who's behind me? And so I started to realize, I got to approach things a little more skeptically. And it's funny because I had not yet heard of Matt Dillahunty and did not know what, skepticism was or, but so it was just after that, then Hitchens, I found him on YouTube. And it was my wife and I got married the year that he died. So I unfortunately didn't catch him while he was still a real cat. But a few years after, maybe 4 years after, I started just voraciously eating his stuff up on YouTube and went and got, it's my Bible. It gets me, I want to say, since my divorce, this damn book I've been reading it like just over and over and over again because it kind of helps me mellow out. But yeah, Hitchens' words and his wit and his
I've got it right
knowledge.
over there.
It's one of the best things I've ever read, and I like to read. But yeah, that he was the nail in the coffin. Once I got to Hitchens, I was like, well, this stuff is all just fucking garbage, you know.
Yeah.
And then I started taking in everything I could on YouTube that was coming out, you know, what's the word? Contemporaneously, like Paulogia and, you know, eventually Shannon Q and all the greats. And then I ran across Neil. It's so weird to be on your channel, Neil. I'm not worried. And Mikey. And it's so cool to know you're in my state, Mikey. Fuck yeah.
Just a kid with a dream.
Just a kid with a dream. I got the bug from Nikki. So this is how I got into this world was I'd been following Nikki Beat the Cult on Twitter.
Yeah.
And every once in a while I interacted with her. I don't think she remembered it at all, but she had a live drop-in show one day. Mm-hmm. And this is a very, very, very funny story. I dropped in. I remember sitting there seeing that I could drop in and going, I looked around at myself. I was like, I don't know that I'm ready for this, but whatever. I hit the button and I walk in and there's Nikki up in the left corner. And then, what the hell is his name? I can't remember his name. And I feel bad because if he sees this, he'll be like, oh, thanks, man. And then Jenna was down in the bottom right corner. And there was 3 wonderful African Americans and me, one white person, and they started talking about deconversion amongst African Americans. And I went, well, I better click out of this right now.
So, pardon me. Excuse me.
What I did.
These things is not like the other ones.
Yeah. She made me feel right at home right away, though. Nikki did. And before you know it, we were talking. People. Oh, she's incredible people. Yeah. I just saw her with Jimmy Snow the other day, and I was like, well, now that was a funny show.
Good old Jimmy.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a wackadoodle. I love him. And what a platform he's got going. I remember when I first started watching it, I thought, I remember thinking to myself, he's going to grow this. You watch. And he did. I mean, I don't know how he hooked Matt. Yeah. He hooked Matt real good. But so that got me the bug for doing live stuff. I went, well, this is fun. I can 2 Neils right on.
2 for the price of 1 only today.
Wait a minute. I got to point the other way now. Yeah, he's the good looking one.
Neil, is this stream rated for 2 Neils? I don't know. The specs only go up to 1.5 Neils.
1.5.
We've never gotten up to 2 full Neils.
Well, when I found out you were from Canada and you're Neil and that you were into rock, I was like, well, here we go. My favorite band, Rush. That's my handle, 2112.
Yes, I noticed that. And I went, oh, Rush fan.
My actual favorite band is Zeppelin. The all-time favorite band is Zeppelin, but 2112 is. That's your number 2?
Zeppelin is my number 2.
Who's your number 1?
Black Sabbath.
Oh, right on. Now, my uncle who taught me guitar, he showed me the first few chords of Stairway to Heaven, and that's where I started. As a little matter of fact, I want to laugh. Here's me in the 70s. Look at those pants. But there, look at that 70s haircut.
I think I had a pair of those.
Those are tough skins, man.
What a happy kiddo. Look at that smile.
That was drugs before drugs, man.
Did they ever make you wear cords?
Yeah. Oh yeah, corduroys, more of those.
Yeah,
just put like zip. No, we wore those in Catholic school. That was the big thing to wear. Yeah, those and knit ties were interesting. Oh yeah.
I
by
in
the
my
80s.
Corduroy pants.
I had a zipper tie.
I just put up that song Corduroy by on Twitter. I just put up the song Corduroy by Pearl Jam, and it reminded me of the pants that we wore in Catholic school.
I like Pearl Jam too.
Yeah,
my third favorite band, by the way, if you really want to know, is Alice in Chains. Just FYI.
Oh, right the fuck. See, in the after party, I might just pick up the guitar and see if you can start singing. We'll see. I'm kidding.
We'll see.
Let's see. I guess that's about the end of my story. So yeah, there was the deconversion with all the great minds that took me out of the silliness but I'm still, it's weird because I'm fully deconverted, but I still have fears and irrational. I mean, that did a number on
of course.
Yeah.
Some of that stuff it's like herpes. It just doesn't go away,
Mm.
right? So it can stay with you for a long time. Especially one of the things I think I hear the most has got to be the fear of hell, right?
Yeah.
That one can stick with you for quite some time, especially if you're in a branch or denomination of Christianity that really hammers that in there.
Mm-hmm.
And Catholicism would be one of those, right?
Sure. The original
So,
church,
yeah.
the KFC of,
Yeah. Well, as raised as a Jew, we didn't really talk about hell because there really isn't. They had the closest thing they had was like Sheol or whatever the fuck it was called.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Sheol. Yeah.
yeah. So there was no real fear of hell. But I do remember my buddy down the street who was a little bit on the religious side, and he's gotten more so in his elderly years. I don't fucking talk to him anymore because that's all he wants to do is try to preach me back into a belief or something. I'm like, go away. Like, fuck you. And he keeps trying to send me messages. I'm like, block. Fuck off. Yeah. So, but he tried it, and he actually got me in thinking a little bit about maybe there is a hell. And I'm like, yeah, no, there's no fucking hell. There's no way in hell there's a hell.
See, I love that you do this, though, because to be able to help, I don't know how to put it, but the word that's the title of the deconversion, to be able to just start to undo screws that help liberate people from that madness, because it really, it was not a good spot to be, to think that, I imagined, again, we're drawing back on the Exorcist, I imagined some fucking creepy shit coming through speakers at me. I really did.
Right. Is this the beards and bandanas episode?
Hell yeah. Well, and then I just got rid of I had Mikey's full thing going until today. I shaved, and I went, shit, that's another thing I shouldn't have done, because you got the handlebar. Oh well.
Well, so, mine kind of wraps around.
Yours goes all the way. Yeah, yours. I've done that look before. As a matter of fact, that was my big 30s look. Was that I did that in my 30s?
Really, with the sideburns coming down?
With the side, yeah. Oh yeah, full on around like that. Yeah. Yeah, I thought it looked cool to get rid of this and to keep that whole, yeah. I don't know. I always thought that this was a little bit of a palette, you could do whatever you wanted with it. And
yeah. I like the guy that did the bat logo.
See, this is why some people shouldn't be allowed to grow facial hair. Like,
what?
He's over there misusing his. I'm just trying to get some of these holes and patches filled in, and he using all this extra shit, wasting. I could have had that.
Oh, no. Oh, that's good.
And then there's Ollie, who shaved his fucking beard off, but he's starting to grow it back, so I'm happy again.
Right on. Right on.
Going, I heard my name. As he's taking down his fifth bowl.
Oh, I want to real quickly say hi, Eric. Hi, Ashley. Hi, Olivia. And hi, Laura. There we go. I got that all out there.
Who's that?
Howdy,
is that your fan club?
Just good friends. Just good friends I got on Twitter.
Oh, I see. Okay.
My Twitter buds
watching this, or
how about say, are y'all in the chat? Say something.
One of them might be. Olivia might be out there. She's a big follower. She likes Nikki Beat the Cult, and so she's been starting to watch her podcast. And I told her about this, and all day she's been really excited and psyched for it. But the other two, there's some things going on right now, so the other two might be a little busy right now.
I got to be on Nikki's. I think I was her first live show.
Yeah. Well, when I went back and started looking through your catalog, I could not believe, first of all, the names that you've had on there. Impressed. Wow. You got the real deal going here. He's got the wheels on this. Story. Yeah. And then to have Matt's not be the deconversion story, I thought that was quality too.
Yeah. When I approached him, because I'd already met him, I'd been to his house and everything at the time.
Sure.
I approached him and I'm like, man, I really would love to have you. He goes, dude, I've told my deconversion story so many times. Can we talk about something else? And I'm like, yeah, I could bend the rules for you. And so we talked about, community and building better community and stupid shit that Christians say and stuff like that. So
yeah,
mostly just that kind of stuff. But people were saying when I had Seth on the show, people were like saying, we're falling asleep here, guys. Those two voices are like putting everyone to sleep. the deep That's voices fun. And stuff like that. And it's like, so I'm like, shit, sorry. Of course, I had you on the show, Andrew. I want everybody to be on the show. Everyone that wants to share their story should come on the show, because I'll have stories to share for a long time, because there's a lot of people out there that don't believe anymore, and more are joining the team.
Yeah. Oh, Twitter's got. I mean, I was really impressed with the. So I think I got on originally and thought I was getting on as a leftist, and immediately I started seeing all the atheist movement stuff, and I went, well, wait a minute, it's got two homes here. But then I found out that they don't always overlap. There's some that are on the left that are so I'll get engaged with somebody that's like, oh, wait a minute, I don't really appreciate what you're saying about religion. I'm like, I'm sorry, then you should read my bio and either mute me or whatever you want to do.
As soon as I say we should start taxing the church, that's when everyone starts saying, now, wait a minute. I'm like, I thought we were all wanted the same thing. I thought we all wanted the same thing, but apparently no. I'm the radical here.
Well, if you know anything about our founding fathers too, I mean, there really was they wanted that wall of separation. They really did. Or at least a few of them did. I'm sure there was, a couple that were.
No, they pretty much all were on board with that, because they realized they came from a country which had religion
where it was shoved down their throat.
They wanted, and they wanted to get away from that. So they were all pretty much on board with that. I think the only one in the chat that hasn't been on my show is Native Atheist. Hint, hint.
Hint, wink, wink.
Send a message.
I'd love to have Native Atheist on the show.
Right on.
I don't care if you were never a believer. I just want to have you on the show. We can talk about whatever.
Yeah.
I think, in the coming times, because I've got Josh Etner coming on the show, and he's a big horror movie aficionado, and he's a great guy. He's fucking funny. And we're going to just talk about, like, if I have people on that were cradle atheists, like Bionic Dance, like Kate Farr, who does the animation stuff that I got to be a voice in her latest movie, which is fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But we talked about religious influences, the things we don't like to see, and the things that how stuff like that can lead to harm to especially to marginalized groups and stuff like that. So I'll talk about that kind of stuff too, because it's important as well. And for people that come looking for the deconversion story, when they hear this kind of talk as well, they go, shit, wow, I never really thought about what I believed had the probability to do this kind of harm. So, I think those are important to talk about as well. Hello, HR. Hello, Purple.
Howdy.
Yeah, so I think these are topics that should be, talked about, because they are important.
Yeah, it all needs to be brought out, and hopefully, Hitchens was want to say that he didn't think religion was ever going to leave us. I can't believe that it would withstand. If you give the internet enough time, and if you give information and education enough time. I'm also one to go a step farther, and so at my Catholic school we had religious studies, not just Catholic studies, but we would study religions of the world critically. And they had a little bit of a bent where they would kind of take down a peg of the other religions. So you would, not be tempted to go that way, and build up, of course, the Catholicism. But what if you did that in all schools, with kids talking about it, with it, none of it being held up? I think you're just going to have, that critical eye on, well, this can't possibly be true. I think that would only be a good, I see only good coming of that. But you'd never talk the Christian parents into allowing their kids in school to be taught comparative religion, in a fair way.
I think that I don't really think religion's going to go anywhere. I think it might evolve over time, but I think there's this, for most people, obviously, because we're non-believers, so it's not really a thing for us, but I think there is some genetic component to having these kinds of beliefs. I think it could, for some people, it helps them get through tough times, even though I'll always say there are better ways to do that. But I think it does for some people. I think there's some people that I wouldn't even want to try to dissuade, because it just, it in my opinion, makes them a little better, I guess, maybe. I don't know. But It's kind of all over the map there. So
Have you heard Pendulette?
Well, hold on, just one thing.
Yeah.
Yes, I've heard lots of things from Pendulette, but one of the things I was going to say is I always remind these people that you got to remember that your beliefs inform your actions, and your actions have consequences. So
you got to pull in there, Neil. We're losing you.
Why? What?
You're talking too softly. Your mic's not clicking on.
Really?
Yeah. You're far away now. Remember, you moved your desk. You got a new desk, a new bed.
I'm literally like, I can split my fingers out, and I'm that far away from the mic.
You have giant hands. That could be 5 to 6 feet.
I suppose.
I hear what to say about guys with big hands. Big gloves.
Big gloves.
Just saying. You just started trailing away. We couldn't hear you at the end there.
And now you're muted.
He done broke it.
Yep, still muted.
Hey, Cosmic Kyle.
There we go. He's back.
It said that it had lost connection to the mic, so that's probably why.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm fine to her. So.
I mean, it's her we're talking about. I mean,
the reason
online mom. She said when I had her on the show, I was like, "Oh, my online mom's going to be able to yell at me in person."
The reason I had brought up Pendulette was because you were discussing how some people need to stay in the religion, and there's that one part of his he does a talk in, like, I think it's a school looking lecture, and he talks about how we can have morals as atheists, and he says, I just love, it's one of my favorite things I've ever heard in a live setting like that, was when he says, so yeah, I do rape and murder everybody that I want to rape and murder. And that fucking number is 0. Yeah. And if you have a higher integer, and he just starts yelling. And I love that bit. And so, but I realize what you're saying, the truth behind it. There are some people that need that glue.
Yeah, they can't be trusted with their own thoughts. So maybe let's give you some guidelines here. Do you know how much eye rolling I get for making the bed every day? You'd be surprised.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
She's not a bed maker.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well,
I'm just like, can we just fold this up a little bit?
I never used to be in my youth. I was like, I'm just going to mess it up again later. So who cares?
we got those.
I do it now.
We got those. It's like I guess like a nursing pillow. It's kind of like a little loop-de-loop. It's got like a long body pillow. It's a weird thing.
Oh, nice.
She went to work. I slid in that thing and I just like put on Netflix. I was like, oh, we're getting another one of these. Oh yeah. So we did. So now there's 2 of those things on the bed with everything else. I'm like, can we just fold some of this?
You said pillow. I got this from a Twitter friend from Ireland.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you guys are looking for a good night's sleep, go on the internet and get one of
stuff on it.
Oh, nice. Quality.
Get one of them wraparound maternity nursing pillows. They're fucking fantastic.
Yeah, now you guys start looking it up and put it on the screen. Look it up and put it on the screen there. Let me see one of these.
Oh man.
What, the like body length pillows?
Oh, dude,
no, that's just a those have a different name. The
what time is it? She might still
I had
be
one
up.
of those.
I'm gonna ask her. I don't know what this thing is called, but it's fucking awesome. Hold on, my buddy texted me. I can find it.
Is the pregnant? Are they for like pregnant women? I guess.
Well, it says wrap around. I'm thinking that's where I'm getting lost because I know what the body pillow is. I've had those before.
A friend of mine's got one. He's a little bit younger than I am. I think he's 30 something now, but it's a giant anime girl pillow.
Now that takes me back to my never mind, to the teenage years. We don't need to discuss those pillows. Come on.
Yeah, no, I want to stay monetized. Thanks.
Yeah.
Damn, I can't find it. I'm gonna find it though. Don't worry. I know you guys are
Okay.
waiting on bated breath there, but
Yeah, it's like I'm all excited now. It's a big letdown.
I know. Big letdown in 2023.
Oh, that's right too. Purple says you can get a body pillow with Cirrus's avatar. On
Yeah.
it. I'm not buying Cirrus's avatar pillow.
I can't remember whose show I was watching. Maybe it was one of the last ones you did, like three shows ago. The guy, you guys were into gaming. Oh, Mikey Fan and the new Mr. Pillow guy.
No.
Will you get Jimmy Kimmel's claw machine?
Thank you, Jonathan. Probably because he's not my son. Like we're almost probably the same age.
Oh yeah, no. I'm jealous of your hair being the color it is because mine should be by now. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've got gray and dark brown, light brown, reddish shit going all through it.
Right,
I found it.
Did you?
No, I dare say I'm probably even older than you. I'm from the '60s. Are you from the '60s?
Born in '66, my friend.
Okay, well then you got 2-3 years on me. Now that pillow.
This thing
Oh my
been
goodness.
awesome, dude. So check it out. Where her head is where my head is. I rotate to my back. Take the other guy, you flip it so your phone sits sideways so you can play the game on your phone and watch TV. It's the best. Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, belly support, blah, blah, blah. Fuck all that. It's all about like you can just sit your phone right there. It's great.
I need one.
$40.
I need those. That's fucking cool.
Yeah, that's not
$40.
bad.
That's American bucks, right? So in Canada,
So
it's like
$700,000
Canadian dollars.
Mom, can I have another $100,000?
4 mooses and a Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
Right. 13 ounces
4 mooses,
of pure
2 Wolverines, a beaver, and 2 Cobra chickens.
So living up in northern Michigan, I'd stay out in the woods quite a bit, and my first experiences with Wolverines, that was, those are fun little critters. I think there's a video of a Wolverine on YouTube walking by with some kind of head of some other animal.
A goat.
Yeah.
Just dragging a
Wolverine.
goat's head. Those things are
I've seen a
buck
Wolverine.
wild.
I was up at 100 Mile House, which is a place way up in the interior in BC. And we were sitting out on the deck playing children's card games like Yu-Gi-Oh! And all of a sudden we heard this fucking horrifying noise. And I guess one of the neighbors' animals was fighting with a Wolverine. And it was, you could see it. It was off but they were like right at the tree line, and the dog just came running back, and the Wolverine kind of chased him for half that and then ran back into the woods. So, but it's the most, it's like, holy shit, what is that? It almost sounded like the Tasmanian devil from fucking Looney Tunes.
It reminds me, I had a friend who posted Pepe Le Pew. Ooh, I guess you can't do that nowadays.
We were so young and innocent, we didn't know.
Yeah, we didn't.
Sorry, Pepe, you're out of here, bud.
Pepe Le Pew.
You're a problem.
Yeah.
This just in, Lisa Marie Presley just died.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Beck killed me. Jeff Beck killed me the other day.
Yeah.
See, my favorite band being Zeppelin. You know, we wouldn't have Zeppelin were it not for Jeff Beck. Because first you had Eric Clapton in the Yardbirds. Then he brought on Jeff Beck. And then when Eric left, Jeff wanted a buddy, so he brought on Jimmy Page. Then Jeff Beck left and left Jimmy Page with the shell of a band. He then hired the 3 guys who were the next Zeppelin members, and they went on tour as the New Yardbirds even. And so the very first Zeppelin songs were done by a group called the New Yardbirds. And again, you wouldn't have that were it not for Jeff Beck. So, yay, I'm glad.
One of the joys of getting older.
No, that's
everybody around you that's famous is now like getting old and dying. At least Mary Presley isn't super famous, but it's like, oh no, what happens when so and so?
Lisa Marie,
using a nursing pillow.
Nursing pillow. She got
No,
stuck.
she's 54.
No,
Holy cow.
she was not that close to our. Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, who else just the guy from 8 is Enough. He was 54. Rich, Adam Rich.
Paul McCartney was warning us.
Adam Rich. Oh, he
Adam
played
Rich.
the
He was in a
young
show
kid?
called 8 is Enough.
Yeah, I remember the show.
Yeah. He was the little boy in it.
Yeah, I remember him.
He was in a couple movies, and I don't remember too much about him, but just knowing that he was.
Whoops, that little guy there.
Yeah, he had
Yeah.
the bowl haircut. He had
Yeah.
that classic 70s bowl haircut.
I had that haircut as a kid, for fuck's sake.
So did I. So did I. Buster Brown shoes, tough skin pants. That
I had a
imagine
high
the
top fade.
Oh, the high top.
I was very stylish, and I had a part and a rat tail. I used to have a rat tail too.
My best friend had a rat tail for many years, and then he was shot in a drive-by. Wow, that's not a happy story.
Holy shit!
I had to get mine cut off because I was sick of the kids in school pulling my hair.
On it. Yeah.
It's just it's such a temptation. Like, I can't even be mad at the kids. You're bored as hell. You're stuck learning fucking fractions. But this kid's got this goddamn braid hanging off the back of his head, and there's some beads on it. Kind of want to give that a pull. No,
They might have thought they were going to get the window shade to go up too. So.
Right. It's like, nah, I can't do it. I should do it. I can't do it. I have to do it. And they had the little angel and devil on their shoulder, and I get it. The devil had strong arguments. But I also had to cut that shit off because fuck that.
Well, snapping bras was the thing too. So yeah, I can see a rat tail being just as tempting.
It's just too much temptation for an adolescent child to not yank the shit out of the back of my neck, fucking snap me back. It's probably why my neck and shit is bad now from kids giving me whiplash in fucking second grade, yanking on that thing. So since we're right at the time, if you could go back and talk to previous believer self, what advice would you give them?
Previous believer self that was full on into it still. Question everything, because that's where I told Neil that it started to unravel with Carlin, but really the truth was I was unraveling it already in my own head, and it was by questioning everything. So if I could go back to that part of me that was dyed in the wool, I would say question everything, because if you just believe what you're hand fed, it takes that
you're
step.
liable to believe anything.
Mm-hmm. Oh, one thing I wanted to add, that Zeitgeist program that I had found, and it helped open my mind, but I realized I didn't want to open too much. I showed it to a good buddy. This is when I was living up in northern Michigan. I showed it to him, and it blew his mind, and he was like, oh my God, he left church too, or he left religion behind. But I lost touch with him. I just recontacted with him like a month ago. He's a full-on MAGA QAnon.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. And it's because that started to open his mind, and he never learned to shut it. Right. And that's what I said to him. I said, dude, I didn't do that to you. You did it to yourself. You needed to close your own mind up. And he was all excited about it. He's like, yeah, I believe every conspiracy. He started to talk about the world being flat, and I said, stop. Stop.
You've been stuck at a train crossing where you could see the curvature of the earth with that goddamn train cars going for 14. You can't tell me it's now flat. Or what was that, Neil?
What Dave said? He says you don't have to question everything, just the things that you care if they are true or not.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So I think the funniest picture I've seen was somebody had spray painted "question everything" on the wall, and underneath it, in a different color paint, someone put "why," which was kind of funny. So.
Fucking beautiful. Eric Clapton is God? Question mark.
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, you started this shit. So, all right. Well, Michael, been a pleasure, brother. Thanks for coming and joining Mike and me for the show today. appreciate having you on and sharing your story with us. And of course, talking about all kinds of goofy shit. And we're going to do more of that in an after party, guys. So if you're interested in hanging out with Michael, Mikey, and myself, the triple M's,
Wow.
you can hit us up. We'll get you a link. You can jump in here and hang out, and we'll talk all kinds of crazy stuff in the after party. But we are going to take a bit of a break between the two shows because, bio break and refills and food and stuff. So feel free to grab yourself some snackies and then come on back and watch the after party or hop in here with us. You can snack while you're in here. I don't care. And and thank you everyone out there for hanging out with us. Also, thanks to my amazing patrons. Couldn't do this without you guys. So thanks for what you do for the show. You guys are awesome. And that's about it. And like I always say at the end of the the end of the interviews, man, I got to stop taking months off at a time, I guess. Right? How did I do this? I fucking forgot the outro in one of them. And I can't seem to
just a little rest
with the start button. Thinking, okay, it's not starting. So I click it off, and then all of a sudden it starts. And I'm like, God damn it! I don't know. Anyway, until then, guys, like I would say, like the late great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.